Here's how one failure turned his miserable life into a horrible success story. The police surgeon inserted the hollow needle into Elmer's arm, and seconds later the sodium pentothal solution was flowing into his bloodstream, taking its effect. Elmer's shrill, maniacal laughter faded into a wheezing gasp. The rapid fury of his convulsive struggling subsided into helpless exhaustion. The three brawny policemen relaxed their hold then, and mopped their sweat-beaded brows. Elmer Preston slumped limply on the shabby sofa, his flaccid face drained to a yellow-greenish hue. His usually soft, liquid brown eyes were glazed and staring now. He started to speak, without emotion, in a quivering monotone. "I'm glad I did it. It had to be this way. Don't you see?" "No, Mr. Preston, we don't see. You'd better tell us about it." Elmer's face took on a thoughtful expression, and his eyes shaded over with a distant look, haunted with memories of the past. He sighed deeply, then spoke again in a colorless, droning voice. I was always a timid man. It's not good for a man to be timid, especially a married man, especially a man married to a woman like Ida. Maybe we could have been happy together in our little apartment, Ida and I. But one evening, her folks came to dinner. Her father was all tense, bursting with news that he finally exploded on me at dessert. "Elmer, you must have been wondering how come Min and I didn't give you two a wedding gift." "Why, no, Mr. Wallace, I never..." "Sure you wondered. Well, son, we've got a surprise. We're giving you a start on a home of your own. $1,000 for a down payment." Why, Mr. Wallace, I hardly know what to say." I should have said no thank you, but I saw no hidden trap at the moment, and when exuding goodwill, Mr. Wallace offered me his hand, I clasped it gratefully. "Just be good to my daughter, Elmer, and be happy together." Thank you, sir." Now that I think back, it seems that Ida must have known all the time. But that night she ran to her father, threw her arms around his neck, and wept for joy.
"Oh, Daddy, Daddy, you're so wonderful to us."
"It's worth any sacrifice to give you and Elmer, our children, a proper start." For an ecstatic 2 weeks, Ida and I house hunted. We found this place, small, comfortable, a dream cottage. The down payments furnishing the place emptied my bank account, but I was blissfully happy. The Sunday after we moved in, the Wallaces came to see our nest. "I don't understand, Mr. Wallace." "You remember I said Min and I were making a sacrifice to help you get started in your own home, Elmer."
"The point, Herbert. Get to the point."
"The point is, Elmer, we had to go into hock to get that $1,000 for you, and then my business slowed down, and right now, what with what I owe, I...
Well, we're having trouble making ends meet, Elmer.
I was being taken for a well-planned ride, and my loving bride had the steering wheel in her own little clutching hands.
We can't let Mother and Daddy suffer, not after all they've done for us. Can we, dear? Tell them they're welcome to share what we have until things are better. Tell them.
That's right, of course. That was the first faint rumbling of the tempest yet to come. The Wallaces gave up their apartment and moved in with us. Ida was a most generous daughter.
Right in here, Mother and Daddy. We'll let them have our room, Elmer. It's closer to the bathroom, and since it's only temporary.
Temporary, she said, but before I knew it, they'd been there 5 weeks. I could just about manage to meet my bills if there weren't other demands on my small income. But I can't afford a TV set, Mr. Wallace. Not even a small screen set. That's gratitude. I give you $1,000 for a home and you expect me to furnish it too? Believe me, I'm grateful. But that money was just enough to let me go into debt for the next 20 years. Saddled with a mortgage, I've got payments to meet on that and the other furniture, and then a few more dollars a month won't hurt. Tell you what, I'll put the $10 down on the TV set. After Mr. Wallace got his TV set, Mrs. Wallace had a request.
You'll see, Elmer. With what you save on laundry for the four of us, this washing machine will pay for itself.
Months went by. My burden grew and weighed upon me like a millstone. One day I found the courage to talk to Ida. I like your folks, Ida, but I can't go on supporting them for...
Supporting? After what they've done? What a loathsome way to repay them for their generosity.
The corners of Ida's mouth dropped, and her eyes were very cold and hard, piercing me through as she spoke.
You're blaming Mother and Daddy because you're not a good provider? You might as well know it, Elmer. I'm not satisfied. Not at all satisfied. I thought you had ambition. I thought you'd go places, get ahead in the world. Instead, you're stuck in a poor-paying job.
Ida spoke bitterly and loudly, loud enough for her parents to hear. They accepted it as an invitation to join her fierce harangue.
Sometimes I wish Ida hadn't... Well, I'd better not say what I'm thinking.
I thought you had guts, son. I thought you'd want to get ahead. Driven more by desperation and debt than by their scorn, I finally gathered the courage to ask my boss, Mr. Bentley, for a raise. But the minute I entered his plush office, I've been meaning to talk to you about your work, Preston. You've been getting careless lately. Sloppy. Very sloppy. I didn't realize, Mr. Bentley. I'm sorry, sir. I'll do better in the future, I promise. I had uncorked the dam by complaining against Ida's folks, and from that day on, a spiteful torrent of criticism poured through the floodgates at me.
What about that raise I told you to ask for, Elmer? When are you going to get enough nerve?
Ask for? You don't ask for a raise. You demand it. That's the only way to get ahead, by demanding. How could I tell them Mr. Bentley had more than refused me a raise? They gave me no peace from the moment I came home from work. Well, Elmer, how'd you make out? Did you tell that boss of yours to come across or get a new boy? I told him nothing, Mr. Wallace. Nobody talks that way to Mr. Bentley. And I'd always get the same response. You didn't? Good Lord, man. Don't you want to get ahead in this world? Every meal became a nightmare from the time I'd sit down.
You're a failure, Elmer. I can't stand a failure.
All my life, I fought to get ahead. I'd force myself to eat, and the tasteless food would sour on the way down.
Don't waste your breath, Herbert. You can't turn a jellyfish into a tiger shark, I always say.
Suddenly, there'd be a violent churning in the pit of my stomach, and I'd have to run from the room.
Go on, run. If I were in your shoes, I wouldn't want to hear the truth about myself either. See? You try to tell him something for his own good and he runs off in a huff. He's insulted.
I'd make it to the bathroom most of the time, and all but heave up my insides.
You married a real lemon, Ida.
He'll never amount to anything. Nor did the torment stop when we went to bed. Ida would nag me till she was hoarse, and I'd cover my head with my pillow, but I'd still hear,
Only 67 miserable dollars a week. In these days, I'm ashamed for Mother and Daddy to know. But of course they do know. They know the kind of clothes I wear. They see the furniture, threadbare, junk.
Please, Ida, it's late. So the months dragged on into years, and the Wallaces stayed on with us, nagging me, hounding, complaining, always complaining.
You remember when you bought that washing machine? I told you it didn't pay to buy cheap. Well, it's ready for the junk heap.
It won't get lonely there, believe me. It'll have that stinking 12-inch screen TV set for company. When I'd heard all I could stand, I'd hurry from the living room.
Never mind, Mother. From now on, I'll do the buying. We can't afford much, maybe, but what we do get will be the best.
Even a locked door was no guarantee of privacy. Are you going to stay in there all night, Elmer? Listen, about the TV set. I was downtown today talking to a dealer about a trade-in on a larger screen, and I was too timid to admit it to myself then, but I'd come to hate Ida and her mother and father. I'd be shaving in the morning and my wife would come in, and the day's nagging would begin.
I don't see why Daddy should have to keep pounding it into you. You should want to get ahead yourself, Elmer.
I know, dear. This morning, as always, we sat at the breakfast table, and I listened to them talking, and nearby the storm gathered. I could hear it rumbling. A man without ambition is a walking corpse, Elmer. I know I'm repeating myself, but try to be a success. Try, Elmer. Elmer? You listening? Huh? Oh, yes, I'll try. And today, for the first time in years, I didn't go to work. I wandered around the streets wondering what was wrong with me, listening to the storm thundering in the distance, coming closer, ready to break at any moment. Why don't I get ahead? Everybody else does. I've got to. I've got. When I got home that night, late for dinner, they just stared at me, Ida, and Mr. Wallace, and Mrs. Wallace. The storm rumbled around, threatening to break, there in my throbbing head, and I just stared back at them.
Well, it's about time.
Where were you today? Mr. Bentley called. Then suddenly, the storm tore loose, howling, screaming black around me, thundering, wild tempest fury, and above the storm, their voices, their nasty voices. Is that the way you try to get ahead? Stay home from work?
You said you'd try to get ahead, Elmer. Why can't you get ahead, Elmer?
I ran out, but not to the bathroom this time. I ran to the kitchen, through the raging storm. I came back with the meat cleaver.
Elmer!
The storm shrieked in my brain. White, blinding lightning flashes exploded. The black fury turned red, spurting red, as I swung the cleaver. Elmer Preston stared straight ahead, smiling. The wild gleam returned to his eyes, and he choked out more words between short, high-pitched bursts of laughter. So you see, I did get ahead after all. And slowly the policeman followed Elmer's wild gaze to the dinner table, to the neat place settings, and the plates with their harrowing fare staring back at them. I I not only got a head, I got 3 heads. Yeah, Preston. Ooh, we see. You were a real success, Preston.
A triple header, eh, kiddies? So Ida and her folks drove Elmer bats, but they went out on strikes in 1, 2, 3 order. All right over the plate. Well, the game's over now, called on account of mental storm. And you and I will take a pain check till next we meet. Hope you liked my new mag. Now the old witch awaits to wind up the fiendish tivities. This is your Crypt Keeper bidding you goodbye and wishing you nothing but the best nightmares.